I still remember the exact second the mistake appeared on my screen, because in my entire career at the Galactic Registry office, I had never seen anything so catastrophically stupid. Human candidate approved for Varkon Prime Academy. I blinked. Twice. Then I zoomed in, hoping the text would magically fix itself. It did not. Now for context, Varkon Prime Academy is not a school. It is a survival filter disguised as education. The deadliest training institution in this quadrant. Even our own species lose half their candidates in the first term. Some years more. And somehow a human got in? Who processed this file? I asked, my voice already preparing to accuse someone of career-ending negligence. A junior clerk, Lumo, raised 3 trembling limbs. I think the system auto-approved it. Of course it did. Because when you build a bureaucratic system spanning 6-star systems, eventually it decides that a species known for fragile bones, inefficient respiration, and emotional instability is perfectly suited for an academy where gravity alone kills most applicants. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I leaned back and sighed. Send the confirmation. Let's see how long the human lasts. Lumo hesitated. Should we correct the error? I looked at the file again. Name, Mira Khan. Species, human. Status, accepted. Then I smiled. A slow, tired, slightly cruel smile. No, I said. Let the universe correct itself. 3 cycles later, I was assigned to observe the new intake on Varkon Prime. Not because I volunteered. No, because someone thought it would be educational for me to witness the consequences of administrative errors. I hate educational experiences. The shuttle doors opened, and the new candidates stepped onto the surface of Varkon Prime, and immediately, half of them collapsed. That is normal. Gravity here is nearly 3 times standard. The air is dense. The ground is unstable. The sky occasionally tries to kill you. Orientation week is less welcome and more survive if you can. I scanned the group, looking for the human. I expected panic, weakness, maybe tears. Instead, I saw her. Mira Khan stood near the back of the group, slightly hunched, breathing hard but still standing. That alone was unexpected. An instructor, Krell, approached the group. A massive being, armored in natural plating, voice like grinding stone. Welcome to Varkon Prime Academy, he said. If you survive the week, you may call yourselves candidates. If you do not, the ground will remember you. Charming. As always. Krell's gaze moved across the group and stopped on Mira. Human, he said, as if the word itself tasted strange. Mira looked up. Yes, that's me. No fear in her voice. Just calm acknowledgement. I frowned. Krell stepped closer. You should not be here. Mira shrugged. I get that a lot. Some of the other candidates made low, amused sounds. I did not, because this was wrong. Humans do not respond like this. They hesitate. They calculate. They fear. This one did not. Krell narrowed his eyes. You will not survive the first trial. Mira tilted her head. Okay. That was it. No protest. No argument. Just okay. I felt something unfamiliar then. Curiosity. The first trial began within the hour. A simple exercise, really. Cross a field filled with shifting terrain and low-level predators. Reach the beacon on the other side. Try not to die in the process. Standard procedure. The candidates lined up. Some confident, some already regretting their life choices. Mira stood among them, stretching her arms like she was about to take a casual walk. I activated my observation console. This should be quick, I muttered. The signal sounded. They ran. Or at least most of them did. Mira started slower. Careful steps. Testing the ground. Smart. Too smart. The terrain shifted under the first wave of candidates. Several were swallowed immediately. Others were dragged down by creatures lurking beneath the surface. Again, normal. Mira did not rush. She watched. She adjusted. And then she moved. Fast. Not the fastest among them. Not even close. But precise. Efficient. Like she was learning the pattern in real time. One of the creatures lunged at her. I leaned forward. And that's the end. She stepped aside. Not panicked. Not clumsy. Perfect timing. The creature missed. She kept moving. I stared at the screen. That was luck, I said. It had to be. It was. Probably. Another candidate, a heavy-set Rulian, fell near her, the ground pulling him down. He screamed for help. Mira stopped. Of course she did. Humans and their ridiculous empathy. She's dead, I said flatly. Helping others here is suicide. She grabbed his arm, tried to pull him free. The ground tightened its grip. Let go, I whispered, even though she couldn't hear me. Let go or you both die. Mira gritted her teeth. Then she changed her grip, shifted her weight, used the creature's pull against itself, and with a sharp movement, she freed him. I went silent. The Rulians stumbled away, shocked. Mira didn't wait for thanks. She kept moving, like it was nothing, like she hadn't just done something that most trained candidates fail to do. I leaned back slowly. Interesting. Very interesting. She reached the beacon. Alive. Of course she did. Because apparently, the universe had decided that today logic was optional. The survivors gathered, exhausted, injured. Fewer than half remained. Mira stood among them, covered in dust, breathing hard, but smiling. Smiling. Krell approached her again. You survived, he said. Mira nodded. Yeah, seems like it. Krell studied her. Why did you help the other candidate? Mira wiped sweat from her forehead. Seemed like the right thing to do. Krell's expression did not change. That decision reduces your survival probability. Mira shrugged again. Guess I'll just have to get better then. I felt it again. That strange feeling. Not curiosity this time. Something sharper. Something unsettling. Because I had reviewed thousands of candidates. I knew patterns, outcomes, probabilities, and Miracon did not fit any of them. Later, as I reviewed the data, Lumo contacted me. How long do you think she'll last? He asked. I looked at the screen, at the human who should not have been there, who should have already failed, who should not be adapting. I paused. Then I answered, I don't know. And for the first time in a very long time, that answer bothered me. By the third trial, the Academy stopped treating Miracon like an error and started treating her like a problem. I wish I could say that realization came from careful analysis or disciplined observation. It did not. It came after she broke one of our oldest assumptions in front of everyone. Trial 3 was simple. Too simple. Enter the containment zone. Retrieve the core. Exit alive. The complication? The zone was occupied by a Varn beast. Now, for those unfamiliar, the Varn is not a predator you fight. It is a force you avoid. Fast, heavily armored, and aggressively territorial. Most candidates do not even see it. They hear it, and then they are gone. Naturally, this made it an excellent educational tool. The candidates were briefed. The rules were clear. Avoid the Varn. Retrieve the core. Survive. Mira listened quietly, arms crossed, like she was attending a mildly boring lecture. I watched her through the observation feed. You finally look concerned, I muttered. She did not. Of course she did not. The trial began. The candidates entered the zone in staggered intervals. Smart ones moved silently. Smarter ones stayed near the edges. The unlucky ones, well, their signals ended quickly. Mira entered last. She crouched, touched the ground, and looked around. Analyzing again, I said, good, maybe she will. She picked up a rock. I blinked. No. She weighed it in her hand, then threw it. Not randomly, deliberately. The rock struck a metal panel on the far side of the zone. A loud clang echoed. The forest went still. Then it responded. The Varn moved. Fast. Too fast. It charged toward the sound. Away from Mira. I sat there, staring at the screen. She just redirected a Varn, I said slowly. No candidate does that. No sane candidate tries that. Mira did not wait. She moved immediately, heading straight for the core's location. Efficient. Focused. Like she had just solved a puzzle. Which, apparently, she had. Halfway through, another candidate appeared in her path. A thin, nervous being named Jero. He froze when he saw her. The Varn, he started. Not here, Mira said, already moving past him. Follow me if you want to live. Jero hesitated for exactly 1 second, then followed. Of course he did. I leaned back, folding my arms. She's building a team now, I said. Wonderful. truly wonderful. This was not how the Academy worked. Survival here is individual. Cooperation is inefficient. Trust is dangerous. Mira ignored all of that. They reached the core chamber, a simple device glowing faintly in the center. Jero rushed forward. Careful, Mira said. He did not listen. Naturally, the floor shifted. A trap. Jero slipped, nearly falling into a sudden drop. Mira grabbed him, pulling him back just in time. Again. Always again. I narrow my eyes. This is not luck anymore. No, this was something else. Something irritatingly effective. They secured the core. Now came the hard part. Leaving. Because the Varn was already returning. The ground shook. Trees snapped. The air itself seemed to tense. Jero panicked. We're dead. We're dead, we're... Relax, Mira said. Relax. Yes, of course. Why not relax while being hunted by one of the deadliest creatures on this planet? Perfectly reasonable. Mira looked around quickly, calculating, adapting. Then she pointed. There. A narrow path. Uneven terrain. Difficult to cross. For most species, impossible to cross quickly. For a Varn, even worse. She ran. Jero followed, barely keeping up. The Varn burst into view behind them. Massive. Relentless. Fast. Too fast. I leaned forward. This is where it ends, I said. It had to. No strategy survives direct contact with a Varn. Mira reached the narrow path and did not slow down. She jumped, cleared the first gap, landed hard, kept moving. Jero stumbled but followed. The Varn charged after them and hit the uneven terrain. It did not fall. It did not stop, but it slowed. Just enough. Mira reached the exit beacon, activated it, and just like that, the trial ended. Silence filled the observation room. I did not speak, because I did not have anything left to say. By the end of the day, the reports were unusual. Human candidate, Miracon. Status, active. Performance, unpredictable. Unpredictable. That word appeared multiple times. Instructors do not like that word. Systems do not like that word. I did not like that word. The final evaluation came sooner than expected. A closed session. All remaining candidates placed in a simulated combat environment. No rules. No guidance. Just survival. The Academy's favorite kind of lesson. I watched as they entered. Fewer now. Stronger. Hardened. And one human standing among them. Still. Breathing steadily. Watching everything. The simulation began. It turned into conflict almost immediately. Alliances formed. Broke. Reformed. Candidates fought. Some fell. Efficient. Brutal. Predictable. Mira did not attack. She moved. Observed. Avoided unnecessary fights. Then when she did act, it mattered. She disarmed one opponent without injuring them. Redirected another into a conflict that was not hers. Pulled Jero out of danger again. I exhaled slowly. She's not playing the game, I said. No, she was changing it. In the final moments, only 3 remained. A heavy striker, a stealth specialist, and Mira. The striker charged. The stealth one vanished. Mira stepped back. Let them collide. Let them exhaust each other. Then she acted. Quick. Precise. Ended it. Not with dominance. With timing. The simulation ended. Silence. Then the system announced the result. Primary survivor, Mira Khan. I closed my eyes. Of course. Of course it was. Later, as the Academy processed the results, I received a message from Lumo. So what happens now? I looked at Mira on the screen, talking to the others. Calm. Alive. A human who had no right to survive here. And yet, she did more than survive. She changed outcomes. She improved probabilities. She made others better. I thought about the original error, the file, the approval, the mistake. Then I spoke. Now, I said quietly. Now we stop calling it an error. Lumo hesitated. Then what do we call it? I watched as Mira laughed at something Jero said. A small moment. Simple. Human. I answered. An exception. And somewhere in the system, far beyond Varkon Prime, a quiet update was made. Human candidates. Status. Under review. Potential. Unknown. Risk level. Rising. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and tell me in the comments, do you think you could survive Archon Prime Academy?